Hello everyone, thank you so much for clicking on today's video and welcome to my channel. I will give you all due warning that today's story is slightly depressing. It's a confession on r/truth off my chest, where OP essentially confesses that she thinks that she ruined her sister and brother-in-law's marriage, and they feel extraordinarily guilty. However, things aren't as fairy tale-like as OP would like to believe they are, and we sort of get an idea of that in the update. So stay tuned for the update to find out. If you do like the story, I'd really appreciate it if you could leave a thumbs up. And before we move on to the story, I just wanted to take a second and thank all of my subscribers. Thank you so much, you guys are so amazing. For those of you that don't know, I have a personal goal of reaching 1,000 subscribers. So if you like my content and would like to support me, I would really appreciate it if you could hit the subscribe button. Anyways, thank you so much for your time and onto the story. I ruined my sister's marriage and I can't live with myself because of it. My younger sister and her husband, let's call him brother-in-law, are, or should I say were, like the greatest love story I have ever known until I ruined their marriage, and I don't know how to live with the guilt. My family has cut all ties with me, and I can't even blame them for it. The guy who I was interested in also left me, and now I see him happy in a new relationship, but I can't blame anyone but myself. About a year ago, I was on a hen weekend for my best friend in the big city. That's where my brother-in-law has a small overnight rental for when he works in the city. We, him and I, decided to meet up to exchange Christmas gifts because they were spending Christmas with his family, and my sister was probably 30 weeks pregnant. They live a few hours away. He ran late at work, so I was already bar hopping with the girls, and when I texted him my location, that was the last thing I remember. I remember that there were substances and alcohol involved, and I woke up in my brother-in-law's bed in my undies. My brother-in-law was livid because I had never taken anything before, and he thought that I was stupid experimenting alone in a city that I didn't know. He found me outside, passed out in a mini dress when it was below 0 degrees. I was covered in vomit as well, so he took me home. He didn't want me to sleep in my dirty clothes, and he tucked a lot of pillows behind me so that I didn't sleep on my back and suffer horrible consequences post-vomit. My brother-in-law lost one of his best friends growing up this way. He spent the night sitting in a chair next to the bed, scared that I would fall on my back and pass away. He was really livid the next day and called me all sorts of immature, careless, stupid, ignorant. I could have been hurt or worse. I agreed with everything he said because I was reckless and I was so ashamed of it. He told me never to speak of this to anybody, especially my sister, who's the jealous type. I did agree against my better judgment, but he was so kind to me and probably saved me that night, so I agreed. Besides him and me, one of the girls that I traveled with figured it out when I disappeared from the club without my jacket and a bag. She had them, and then later my brother-in-law asked her to drop by with the fresh clothes and coat. She must have been the one who spread rumors about what happened. A few months later, my sister got the version that I spent the night with brother-in-law and that I needed a change of clothes. Us not telling her everything immediately when it happened only made it worse. They are separated now, processing the divorce. My sister is broken and my baby niece is going to grow up in a broken home where her parents fight over custody. My mother and the rest of the family have all cut contact with me. I wish that my brother-in-law never found me passed out behind the club that night. I should have suffered from my consequences. I'm just very sorry. One Redditor said, "Have you told your sister all of this? What you did was very stupid, but she should be thankful that her husband has probably saved her sister's life." To which OP replied, "Yes, we've told her everything, but it was unfortunately too late. She didn't believe us." Another Redditor said, "I'm puzzled by this. Your sister is going to believe one of your drunk party friends over her own husband and sister, and throw away her entire marriage on this person who never saw anything actually happen? Either your sister has serious issues, or there were other reasons that she had to doubt her husband, or this is just another Reddit creative writing project." Another Redditor said, "He should have called her and told her how he found you and kept on contact with her the entire time. This isn't 100% on you." Another Redditor said, "The really dubious aspect of this story is why brother-in-law didn't immediately call his wife and tell her he found her sister passed out, covered in vomit on the side of the street outside of a bar. You find a family member in that situation, the natural inclination is to immediately contact family members just to let them know that they're safe. Immediately deciding that this is a secret we tell no one is sketchy." Another Redditor said, "So I have questions. Are you sure that there wasn't some other issue between them as a couple and that they were not as fairy tale as everyone thought? Because how quickly your sister threw it away, and this line in particular has me thinking." OP had written, "He told me never to speak of it to anybody, especially my sister because she's the jealous type." Even if she was the jealous type, what is he trying to say here? That if your sister found out, she would think that you, her sister, and her husband banged in this occasion? What? That's a hell of a leap. I mean, wouldn't your sister just be happy that you are safe? That you were with someone who you both trust? Why does drunk automatically equate something happening? Also, the speed at which he suggested that you two keep it quiet. I do think that he's been in the doghouse before. To which OP replied, "If there was issues, nobody knew about them." I'm sorry that I deleted my account yesterday. I just felt overwhelmed by the people who contacted me to say that it was fake. I really freaked out and was very hurt. I don't know why my lack of ability to write makes my conundrum less serious. I don't get this is not the whole story either. I spent 4 hours trying to make the text as short as possible. I thought that I did a great job. I don't want to convince you to believe me because it doesn't matter either way, but I have to say that I've never seen a post be so attacked. Why so heartless? I'll answer a few of the questions people have asked, and then I have a small update because I've been in contact with my brother-in-law several times today and I ended up sending him the post. Thank goodness that the link still worked even with the account deleted and him not being on Reddit. 1. Where everyone lives. I live in the small town as the rest of the family, which is 5 hours away from the big city. My sister and her husband live 2 hours away from the big city in the opposite direction. This means that we live 7 to 8 hours apart. 2. Why I was alone that night. I wasn't. My friends were inside the club. I went out for some reason and passed out. The club is on a busy street and everyone was drunk at that time. Nobody was paying any attention. My brother-in-law found me because he recognized me. 3. Why brother-in-law didn't talk to his wife, who's my sister, immediately. I don't know. I was passed out. He said that he knew her well. She would be suspicious anyway, and probably try to drive in the snow and still think that we were up to something. Why I didn't go to the hospital? That has to do with the legality of things that happened that night. My brother-in-law didn't want me to get into trouble, and I think that he thought that I was just very drunk. I could lose my job if I get it on the record that I was using substances. Was I roofied? No. Unfortunately, I remember that I was very drunk, and I had sounded excited to take something that a guy one of my friends knew was passing. It was all me and my stupidity. All my stupidity. Why brother-in-law didn't put a t-shirt on me or something. He had covered me up with a duvet while I was sleeping. When I woke up, he lent me his gym clothes. I've talked to brother-in-law today. Someone here suggested a lie detector test. I got really excited. Anyway, when I talked to my brother-in-law, he wasn't as excited. He told me that he would be brutally truthful with me now. He doesn't want to salvage his marriage. He said that these months had made him understand that my sister and him are wrong together. My sister was cheated on in a previous relationship, and according to him, she was punishing him for what the other dude did to her throughout their relationship. He never said anything because he loved her, and when it was good between them, it was great. That's part of what we all got to see, the fairy tale kind of love. He was terrified when I spent the night in his place and wanted to do anything for her not to find out. What happened with me brought back his PTSD from his best friend's passing, and when my sister found out, he had hoped that she would at least be understanding because she knew about his best friend. Her unsupportiveness when he needed her made him realize that he didn't love her anymore. I sent him the post all the same. He apologized, for some reason, about what my mom did. She had been really harsh with me because she believed my sister. I called him again and asked him if I could at least do the poly to give my sister proof that I was innocent. He said that I should do what I saw fit. He said that all he wanted now is to fight for his daughter because my sister is trying to block him from getting custody. He also says that he's been dating for a few weeks now, so that's it. He's moving on. I texted my sister that I was willing to do a polygraph to prove that I was innocent. She didn't answer me. My mother did, however. She told me to leave my sister alone, or that they would call the cops on me and get a restraining order. She also called me a junkie and she threatened to rat me out to my workplace. I don't know if the guilt will ever leave me. There's no coming back from this, and everybody seems to be moving on. Maybe it's time for me to move on too. One Redditor said, I hope hearing the truth about the relationship will help you realize that no matter if that night had happened or not, they most likely wouldn't have had a quote-unquote fairy tale ending because their relationship wasn't as perfect as you thought. Your brother-in-law doesn't blame you, so try not to blame yourself. It wasn't your fault. The reason the rest of the family is blaming you is because they're refusing to see the truth. That's on them, not on you. To which OP replied, I've been crying since. My brother-in-law told me not to tell my sister that he's dating. I'm so sorry, and this will probably break her. I don't think that I could just shut these feelings down. It was all me. Another Redditor replied, I hope knowing that brother-in-law realized that his marriage was a dead end helps you move on. Your sister clearly has trust issues, and it's not your responsibility. If she would have trusted either you or her husband, they would still be married. This is not your fault. Again, your family sounds toxic, and as sadly as it is, you're probably better off not trying to contact them. Treat yourself and try finding a new way back to normality. Therapy is never a bad idea, even if it's just short for hearing from a professional that you did not ruin someone else's life. You needed help that night and luckily you got it. That's it. All the best. To which OP replied, Thank you. This is just all so unnecessary and hurtful. My sister will hate me even more once she finds out that my brother-in-law is already dating. So guys, what did you think about this? Please let me know in the comments down below. I personally am a little left out. From what I understood of the update, it sounded like the marriage between OP's sister and brother-in-law were doomed from the start. That level of jealousy is extraordinarily unhealthy, especially when you're not willing to acknowledge the trauma that your partner's been through. I hope that OP is willing to see that one day and stop blaming themselves. Also, I just want to take a second and acknowledge that I personally think that the dynamics that OP has with her family is extremely bad. And not from OP's end, obviously. It's from the family's end. Like, what the F is wrong with the mother? How would you do that? Why would you do that? And why are you thinking about taking a restraining order? That's definitely horrific. Either we don't know the whole tale, or this family is extraordinarily dysfunctional. I do wish the best for OP. I sincerely hope that they get therapy, and I sincerely hope that they find the peace that I think they deserve. Anyways, what did you guys think about this story? Please let me know in the comments down below. If you did like it, or at least my telling of it, I would really appreciate it if you could leave a thumbs up. And please subscribe if you'd like to hear more stories from Reddit with updates.